I love in this panel that they have the panel, so they have the outline of the actual panel, but then they have elements coming out of it. This isn't the only panel where, like, the only section where they do that. There's been previous sections, but coming outside of the panel, one creates a feeling of like motion and action, but two, it also like makes that action feel like it's bigger in scope, because for the sake of like how comic books work and how you like have a panel that you're trying to stay within, the world is that panel in a way. So like that is the space that you have, is the panel, and in a lot of ways you're constrained to that with a little bit of wiggle room. So having an action that falls slightly outside of the panel means that you are in like a strict panel, like not the kind where you kind of have kind of a fading effect around that you can get with digital comics a lot more than like traditional medium. But having the action fall outside of that like very clear panel edge makes the action feel like it is bigger and more impactful, and like the scene can contain, like there's a bunch of strength behind him, like bringing down his spear that he has, because it falls slightly out of the panel. And it's also just a great way to have something at the bottom of the panel that kind of falls out of it as a bit of a softer transition between the panel and whatever comes down next. Like I don't know what the next part is, but it's going to help just transition a little bit because the action is facing down. So as you're reading, the action is leading you to the next part by leading down, because this is a webcomic. So we're going top to bottom as opposed to like traditional medium, where if it's like Western comics, you're going to have action that goes to the right, because in Western comics you read left to right. If it's Eastern comics like manga, you're going to have action that goes right to left, because that's how those comics are read. So just some cool things that are happening with the way that this particular panel is designed.